Hello, welcome back to the James Ramblin' Reviews for yet another episode. And in today's episode, I'm actually going to come at you with a review on the new The Killer movie that came out on Netflix on November 10th. But before we get into that kind of stuff, right, I'll give you a bit of context about this movie and also about how I go into this and stuff like that. So, the context about this movie is that, just to be clear, this movie actually had a limited theatrical run where it was out for a certain amount of time, and then Netflix put it onto Netflix like after a little while and put it on November 10th. So that's the context behind this movie. Just a little fun fact about the movie if you're wondering when it got released in theaters and then it got released in Netflix. So there's that. But this movie, when it comes to this, like, David Fincher is a director that I can't really say that I'm the biggest fan of. I've not seen a lot of his movies, to say the least, and I've not really said, oh, I hate this movie or I love this movie about David Fincher. So please don't come into this thinking that I'm going to give you this rundown, this comparison. Oh, this movie by David Fincher is better than The Killer. The Killer's better than this David Fincher movie and stuff like that. You're not going to get this around here. Absolutely not. So there's that, but I'll give you the plot summary at least, or the plot rundown, what this movie actually has to offer. So this movie stars Michael Fassbender as this hitman guy that has to go on this mission or series of missions. Kind of feels like episodes where he kills these certain people and he goes to these different countries. So he goes to like Paris in the first chapter, and then he goes to like Florida in a later one, and then he goes to New York, and then he goes to like Dominion Republic, or however you say that, right? You say it, the Dominican Republic, right? That place, right? So you have that kind of stuff going on. So he's killing these people, but please don't think that this movie is definitely not an action fest where he's going. It's not John Wick. This movie is definitely not John Wick, where he's gonna boom, 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 shoot a lot of people and blow up a lot of stuff. You're not gonna get that around there. So there's definitely that kind of stuff, right? So how do I actually feel about this movie, knowing that kind of stuff? So I have to say that this movie is quite the slow one. Like, I know there's a lot of action movies where, like I just mentioned, there's a lot of shooting up buildings and blowing up things and, putting, that action going on. It's definitely not that, because the movie takes a while to get going. There's like, it kind of feels like a stealth mission in a video game where you're just shooting somebody. It's like, and then it slowly goes like that, and it goes, and then it slowly goes like that, and it goes, and it kind of repeats this thing of, okay, it sounds like he's got, just for an example, right, he's just got a it's kind of like a silenced pistol. He's like, and then he slowly steps away and he slowly does that. And there's also a lot of narration as well. Like, there's a bit of narration in this movie, and it reminded me of this movie called American Psycho, which I actually have reviewed, where you've got this narration going on. You get to understand what the character is feeling, what's going on inside their head, what they're all about, and all that kind of stuff, and how he's feeling in certain moments. Like, I think there's points where he just wants to get the job done, but he doesn't really love his job and what he's doing. And I'll just go back to this quickly, right? So there was actually one action scene in this film. There was one action scene in this movie, and I think it's like 40 minutes. Like, when you look at the time, the running time on Netflix, right, it says like an hour 59 or whatever, but when it says 40 minutes left or whatever, I noticed that there was this action scene, and that was like the only action scene in this entire movie. So if you're, like I was saying, if you're expecting this to be an action fest, please don't. But the action scene itself wasn't actually too bad. Like, you kind of got to see this brutal action scene going on, and the context behind it actually worked for the movie itself and things of that nature. So there's all that kind of stuff. So how would I rate this movie out of 10? I would give this movie like a 7 out of 10. I wouldn't go around telling you to watch this movie right now. Like, if you have a day where you've got nothing to watch, yeah, definitely watch it. But it's definitely not as kind of mediocre or average as the Marvels. Like, there is actually stuff to appreciate about it. It's also very simple if you're looking for all that kind of stuff. And I guess you could say, right, if you're already a David Fincher fan, you might as well watch this. But even if you're somebody like me who hasn't watched every single David Fincher film, then I still kind of recommend it if you want something like that. So there's all that kind of stuff, right? I've actually had to record this review a few times because my laptop's been kind of going a bit crazy. Like, I think because didn't record for a little bit because I went away with my family, that my computer was going all over the place and it was recording weirdly, and also because I've not been reviewing things lately. I've only reviewed the Marvels, so there's all of that, right? I bet I end this review. This is the best version you're gonna get. So yeah, bye. See you for another review. Maybe we'll review the new Napoleon movie. We'll have to see. We'll have to see indeed. So yeah, bye. The Killer, the thriller movie with Michael Fassbender in it. Right, bye.